classification on the basis of the method used. Depending upon the method we are using for the chromatography, there are again many types. One is the thin layer chromatography, means TLC. Second is the column chromatography. Third is the paper chromatography. Fourth is the gas chromatography. And fifth is the HPLC, means high performance liquid chromatography. This is the classification on the basis of the methods used. We are using different methods for the chromatography, such as the thin layer chromatography, means TLC. This technique is mostly used in the laboratory. Then the column chromatography. Now in the column chromatography, we have seen one column which is filled with the calcium carbonate, and we pour the mobile phase and the mixture of the sample over this stationary phase. We get a illusion of the sample at different intervals of the time depending upon the interactions between the stationary phase and the mobile phase. Now there is a third type, is the paper chromatography. This is what the we are using one paper for the separation. Then the gas chromatography. The gas chromatography, we are using mobile phase as a gas and stationary phase may be the liquid or the solid. These two techniques are the instrumental technique, gas chromatography and HPLC. Mostly these techniques are used in the many chemical industries and pharmaceutical industries for the separation of the various components. The HPLC is what? High performance liquid chromatography. This is also the solid liquid chromatography. In this liquid HPLC, on the basis of the partition, the separation of the components will be taking place. These are the classification on the basis of the method used. We have seen the classification on the basis of the stationary phase and mobile phase used. Then classification on the basis of the interaction of the solute with the stationary phase, and the classification on the basis of the method used. Classification based on the mode of the chromatography. There are two types based on the mode of the chromatography. First is the normal phase mode. And second is the reverse phase mode. Now in the normal phase mode, stationary phase is polar and mobile phase is non-polar. In normal phase mode, stationary phase is polar in nature and mobile phase is non-polar in nature. For separation of the simple mixture, we can use normal phase mode. For the separation of the simple mixtures, for simple separation we can use normal phase mode. Then the other technique is the reverse phase mode. It is exactly opposite to that of the normal phase mode. In reverse phase mode, stationary phase is non-polar in nature and mobile phase is polar in nature. And this reverse phase mode is useful for separation of the complex compound. For the complex mixtures, we can use reverse phase mode for the separation process. This is the classification based on the mode of the chromatography. There are two types. First is the normal phase mode and second is the reverse phase mode. In normal phase mode, the stationary phase is polar in nature and mobile phase is non-polar in nature. Exactly opposite is the reverse phase mode. In reverse phase mode, stationary phase is non-polar and mobile phase is polar. The normal phase mode technique is used for separation of the analysis of the simple mixture, and reverse phase mode technique is used for the analysis of the complex mixture. In the HPLC, we use the reverse phase mode. Now we will see the another classification which is based on the elution technique. Classification on the basis of the elution technique. In this elution technique also there are two types. First is the isocratic elution. And second is the gradient elution. Now in isocratic elution, what happens? The mobile phase composition is same all of the process. Throughout the process, mobile phase composition is same in isocratic elution. In isocratic elution, mobile phase composition is same throughout the process. But in gradient elution, what happens? We can change the mobile phase composition can be changed. Okay, in gradient elution, mobile phase composition is changed during the process. By increasing, we increase the mobile phase composition. By increase the mobile phase composition, what happens? The separation will increase, efficiency will increase, and we get the peaks in very short time. Therefore, to reduce the time of the process, time of the elution, we can increase the composition of the mobile phase. That is what? Gradient elution. We are actually performing the actual isocratic elution, but when the good results are not obtaining from the isocratic elution, or if very large time is there for the isocratic elution, then we will prefer the gradient elution. In gradient elution, we are increasing the mobile phase composition. We are changing the mobile phase composition. In HPLC, gradient elution technique is used. We are changing the composition of the mobile phase. This is all the classification of the chromatography we have seen. We have seen the classification on the basis of the stationary phase and mobile phase use. Then we have seen the classification on the basis of the various techniques such as the TLC, paper chromatography, then column chromatography, gas chromatography, HPLC. These are the methods, these are the techniques on the basis of the classification is there. Then the classification on the basis of the principle, on the basis of the principle of separation. Which types are there on the basis of the principle of separation? There is the ion exchange chromatography, affinity chromatography, size exclusion chromatography, adsorption, partition. These are on the basis of the principle of separation. Then on the basis of the mode of the separation in the chromatographic process, there are two types. Okay, what are that two types on the basis of the separation? Then the classification based on the illusion technique, there are two types, isocratic illusion and gradient illusion. Okay, this is all about the classification of the chromatographic techniques.